Blinded by the light of what's true and right. It's Rhyme and Reason 670.
There's a rhyme and reason for your life. There's a rhyme and reason why you're...
Hey there, Tony here. And you pretty much have to be a few decades old or a big fan of the 70s music. You remember that song? Blinded by the light, revved up like a douche, runner in the night. Blinded by the light. Remember that one? Manfred Mann's Earth Band. They sang that song way back in the 70s, like I said. And I didn't learn until later, actually, that it was written by Bruce Springsteen. I'm not a fan of his, by the way. But it's one of those songs that partly sticks in your brain because, it's a catchy phrase, blinded by the light. And in the 80s, along came another song like that, She Blinded Me with Science. Remember that one? She blinded me with science. She's tidied up a bit and I can't find anything. I still quote parts of that song anytime Elgeline cleans up and moves things around. Hey, where did you put the... she's tidied up and I can't find anything. But let's move on, shall we? That's enough, too much information probably. So let's get a little scientific, shall we? Imagine a single cell in your own body, and you're going, blinded by the light and blinded me with, huh? Yeah, let's go back to that single cell. It's about 1/100th of a millimeter in diameter, okay? Now, keep in mind, a typical dust particle is about 1/10 of a millimeter in diameter. And now imagine that one tiny cell contains 25,000 genes and somewhere around 50,000 proteins. I mean, talk about feeling your Cheerios. Might be a little bit too old of a reference for you. Sorry. Anyway, now let's think about how you and we were once no more than that single tiny cell. And that single cell eventually turned into 20 or 30, somewhere in that range, 20 to 30 trillion other cells. And those cells formed all your working parts. And every one of those cells have complex little engines working inside them around the clock. And I'm just getting started. I mean, this complexity gets to me. I love it. And I wish that the complexity of it would actually get to everybody. But unfortunately, too many people bask in the evolutionary sun lamp and totally reject the sun, S-O-N, who made the sun, S-U-N, which is way better than any sun lamp of any kind, metaphorical or literal. For example, let's consider this, okay? Researchers studied the transcripts, copies of RNA produced from the DNA, the transcripts of just 1% of the human genome. And guess what they discovered? Well, you don't have to guess because I'm about to tell you. About 93% of the genome is transcribed, not 3% as expected. 93% of the genome is transcribed. Further study with more wide-ranging methods might raise this figure up to 100%. Because much energy and coordination is required for transcription, this means that probably the whole genome is used by the cell and there is no such thing as junk DNA, which evolutionary kind of so-called scientists will tell you. And exons, which are not the gas company, exons are not gene-specific, but are modules that can be joined to many different RNA transcripts. One exon, one part of one gene, in other words, can be used in combination with up to 33 different genes located on 14 different chromosomes. Man, this is cool. This means that one exon can specify one part shared in common by many different proteins. And there is no beads on a string linear arrangement of genes, but rather an interleaved structure of overlapping segments, with typically 5, 7, 9, or more transcripts coming from just that one gene. And not just one strand, but both strands sense and antisense of the DNA are fully transcribed. Transcription proceeds not just one way, but both backwards and forwards. I don't know if you can get a mental picture of this, but if you're real interested, I could send you a link to a visual of this. That's really, really cool. Transcription factors can be tens or hundreds of thousands of base pairs away from the gene that they control, even on different chromosomes. And there's not just one start site, but many in each particular gene region. And there's not just one transcription triggering or switching that system for each region, but many. All right. Wow. I know you followed right along. You're getting a visual, you're getting a mental image of that, and you're going, yeah, makes total sense, Tony. Thanks for sharing that with us. Appreciate it, and we can move on, right? Or you're going, what? Huh? Well, you can sum all of that stuff up in 3 words, which are actually 2 words with one repeated, okay? It's complexity begets complexity. You know what that means? You get complex from complex. It doesn't come from, everything comes from nothing. And the only way you can look at that tiniest cell and see all that complexity and still say it all came from nothing is because you choose to be blinded by the light, revved up like a fool, a runner in the night, blind. Okay, I guess I made my point, right? And you can disagree with me all you want. Millions do, probably billions do, but just know this, you can disagree and put your eternity at risk. You good with that? I'm not. I'm not going to take a chance with eternity by denying what the evidence shows, the complexity inside a single cell of one human being shows the complexity beyond anything we can imagine here on good old planet Earth with our wonderful little machines and computers, and yes, we can build such magnificent things, yes, we can. They don't even compare to the single cell inside your body that you came from, a single cell. No, doesn't even compare. In awe of all creation and how it all could be, the fairy tale illusions increase with every year. The wrinkled plans expand exponentially until one day, perhaps, a duck becomes a deer. Yeah, right. That's from a song of mine, by the way. Fast forward. And you can find that. See, if you went back in the episodes, you can find that. I played that somewhere, and if you'd like to hear it again, or if you haven't heard it, let me know. I'll play it in another episode. And that does it for this episode of Complexity Begets Complexity. You have to say it with a British accent because that makes it, like, if I say blinded by the light, what's that? Okay, that's one thing. But if I say blinded by the light of what's true and right, immediately you think it's got, more credibility, right? Or not. Okay, I'm getting foolish over here. I better stop while I'm behind. Thank you so much for tuning in. It means the world to me that you would let me ramble on about Christian things and creation science and music and words and all that kind of stuff. I appreciate you being there more than you can possibly know, but I hope you understand that it's a lot. This is Tony from TonyFunderburk.com that has that ever-present merch tab, where if you haven't done so yet, shame on you. Head over there now and get that t-shirt that says, Life has rhyme and reason because God made you.
There's a rhyme and reason.